Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you for joining me today for another card making video, and today this video supports our Project Share Project blog hub. So myself, Heather, Jill and Jez are all in the Project Share group, and we share each other's projects on a Thursday, and then once a month on the first Saturday of the month we have a themed little mini blog hop between ourselves. So in the description below there will be a link to my blog, and then you can see all the other ladies' projects too. And this month our theme is floral, so that'll be a very nice generic project for everybody. There are loads of floral elements in the Stampin Up catalogue to choose from. So I've pulled out a new set called Cheerful Daisies, and the coordinating Cheerful Daisies dies. This is a really interesting bundle. There is a suite of projects. There's coordinating DSP as well, but as you know, I'm not one to go for DSP, but I'm sure you'll see those in other demonstrators projects. They're really, really pretty. They're just not my kind of thing. So this set is going to be really, really interesting. We've got two-step stamping elements to it, with the outlines and the sort of solid images that you can use independently, and also we've got the dies that also layer up as well. So you can stamp an image and die cut them out, or you can use like the solid, die cut it and then layer it with detail, and it's going to be one of those sets that you keep playing with and mixing and matching all the dies and things like that. We've got some really interesting kind of almost seaweed like little branches there as well, which I think is really, really cool, and a nice little label to fit the sentiment, and some little smaller flowers as well, which I think would be good for a background or something like that. So there's loads and loads, and a few sentiments as well. So my card is going to mainly focus on the dies, okay, and we're just doing white on white layering, keeping it really sort of it's not really clean and simple because there's loads of stuff stuck on it, but it's very much a white space kind of card, with just a couple of colours, bit of simple matting and layering, and some bling from some of the what do they call this now? Simply Elegant trim. That's right, Simply Elegant. Okie dokie. So this colour combo uses one of the new ink colours. This is Copper Clay that I've used for the centres and the layering, and I've brought in Shaded Spruce, a nice warm green from our regular collection of colours. So Copper Clay is a new ink colour. So on the sample that I'm going to make with you today, I'm going to bring in another one of the new in colours, which is called Wild Wheat. So that's going to be our layered element this time, and I will do the centres of the daisies in that coordinating ink as well. So we'll just pop that to one side just for a second. Okay, and the green, just so to bring in the ink pad here, it's quite an earthy yellow, so I wanted quite an earthy green, so I've gone with Mossy Meadow, which is actually one of the neutrals. Okay, so that's the colour combo we're going to go with. Alright, and because it's all about the die cutting, I have already done all of that ahead of time, so you can see that these layered elements are going to come together. Okay, to make those, and I've also die cut this one that's a larger die in the background, which you could easily use on its own. I think you could even stamp the detailed images over the top of this if you sort of lined it up carefully as well. So there's loads we're going to be able to do with this set. Okay, so just actually let's do this bit first. So these guys layer together. Now we could of course use some adhesive sheets and die cut them with the adhesive on, which is cool. You can do that. I get myself in a bit of a mess with that stuff myself. liquid glue isn't always my friend either, so to see how we get on with this. And I would say that layering these up is actually quite a forgiving process. They're not super tight to the edges, so a little bit of wriggle room here and there just to get those layered up. I would say it is worth having a bit of a play around with these dies before you do them, because now I'm going, oh, how do these layer up again? Because they aren't the easiest thing to line up. I think it's these three here. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so trying to keep it sort of the same orientation and then put it back down in the same way. And I'm just going to put a little bit here and there, and sort of around the middle just to secure that. You don't need a lot of this glue, we just need it to hold it in place really. Like I say, you've got a little moment or two just to move it around as well. And same with this guy, we've got this sort of cluster of three here, which is these three, and then that pointy one is there, so that's the way around we need to have that. So again, I'm just going to put some glue on these larger spaces here. Pop that into place. She says, doing it wrong. That way, that's it. My eyes and my hands were not talking to each other then. I was like, no, that pointy bit's got to go there. No, just there we go. Right, so obviously those can just set up a little bit while we do some other elements. And one of the things we'll need to do is just colour this leaf. So I'm just grabbing some scrap paper, which is not cooperating. There we go. So this is just some scrap I've got here, and I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Blend in the Mossy Meadow ink. So Mossy Meadow Stampin' Blend. You could also use the Stampin' Right marker, whatever you've got. You could use a blending brush with the ink pad, and I'm just going to basically colour this leaf to coordinate with the rest of the project in this Mossy Meadow. Okay, so you just want to go gentle. It is quite a delicate little piece on the end there, and what I find is you get a better coverage, and you make sure you get all the edges if you go on the back as well. So just nice and gentle. With that, go quiet when I'm concentrating, sorry. Just trying to make sure we get that without damaging that die. So there we go. So that's going to be nice and coloured in the background. We could have cut it out in the Mossy Meadow. I feel like that's sort of a waste of cardstock, where actually, you could just colour that element, and then you've got that flat with the blooms being dimensional over the top. Okay, so the other elements that we're going to need to do are just cut a couple of little centres for our flowers. So we'll use the Wild Wheat ink pad for that. Okay, and we'll just do that quickly. Just grab my, just need my chamois out so I can clean my stamps. There we go. Do that as I go along. There is a die for the larger little portion there, but you can just cut those out. Need that scrap for the other elements. So I'm just going to roughly cut this out, and just quickly. It's not a particularly detailed elements, so just roughly cut that out. So there is a die for this one. There's a strange little die in the stamp set, sorry, in the die set even, that looks like it should cut out those other little ones, but it's a really weird shape. It doesn't quite match it up with the image, so I'm not really sure what that's all about. So I was going to fussy cut those ones anyway, so I might as well fussy cut them all. They're all really super tiny though. So I think it would work as well if you stamped the centres before you stuck on the little sort of detailed bits and pieces. I think that would work too. Oops. It would be helpful if I could pick that up. I'll say it's not a particularly fiddly shape, so we'll just go with it. I think this will give me a better effect. Okay, so there we go, that's that. There is one more thing to die cut though, and that is the sentiment, which we're going to do in the foliage colours, which is Mossy Meadow. So we'll just get that stamped there onto this scrap of paper, or cardstock I should say. Just let that dry for a moment. That's quite wet ink. It's not an ink pad I use a lot, so just give that a moment to dry. And there is a coordinating die in that set, which I forgot to leave out. So it's a very comprehensive set of dies. So this lovely little label, and it's got some lovely stitched detail on it as well, which is really, really nice little detail. So we can just lay that over the top. The wishing you the gives you a nice straight line. And just sort of eyeballing that left and right to get that nice and even. It always looks like it's a little high in the die because you've got to allow for the tails on the Y and the G there, but it looked grand when we've got it on the card. So just quickly pop that through the die cut machine, like so. I'm not actually sure if all of these fit through the mini, so let me just grab quickly, because of the smaller elements definitely would. I just wonder whether that larger die would. So if I grab a cutting plate there, yeah, it would, you know, that larger die fits over that, so they are compatible with the mini die cutting machine. Stampin' Cut and Emboss, which is good to know. Good to know. Okay, a couple of dimensionals are going on the back of that in readiness for preparing our card, and we're going to stick our centres onto here. Now I did put them up onto dimensionals on the original card, but we've got a lot of other dimensional elements. So actually on this one I'm just going to stick them flat. Not sure there's a right and a wrong to those, so I'm just going to put those. Where did the other one go? Oh no, where's it gone? Oh, there it is, got it. Phew. Dearie me, they are super teeny tiny. Did you guys all see that happen? And then this one as well. Cool. Just pop that in there. So I don't think there's a right and wrong. So those can firm up for a little bit as well. So for our card base, I'm going to layer up these layers, the basic white and the wild wheat. So I'm going to stick those together with the stamping seal. Like so. And we can pop that onto the card. Again, just a basic white card base. Just to keep that nice bright white sort of look that I'm going for. Okay. Okie dokie. Right, so we've got all our elements here. So now we need to just layer on all these other elements too. Alright, so the sentiment's going to go on because I want to make sure that that is where I want it to be, and the rest of the flowers can just sort of fit around there. And then we're going to put on some loops of this lovely gold Simply Elegant trim. So you get a roll of gold and silver. This was a product that was introduced a couple of years back now, and it was part of a really lovely Simply Elegant suite. So I'm quite pleased it's carried over because there's loads and loads of thread on here. So we're just sort of persuading this to go where we want it to go, and sticking it over that little pieces of tape there. If we need more, we can put more on. In fact, I might do that because I think that end is going to just sort of escape otherwise. And then any other little bits and pieces we can sort of persuade that to sit down once we've got our other elements in place. Okay, and then we might need to cut that tail off a little bit shorter. So let's just do that. Okay, so you may want to just sort of lay your element on and just check that you've got bits where you want it, and because you've got time, this will lift off here quite easily at this point. So if you needed to make some adjustments, you can. Okay. And then we can start layering on our floral elements. Okay, so I am going to use the multi-purpose glue again for this, to make sure we get a nice firm hold on some of these delicate elements. That said, there's going to be a lot of other stuff going on that will help to keep things in place as well. So we'll just drizzle that around. Okay, so just sort of orientate that wherever you want it to be, and just slotting that in behind all of those elements there. Okay, and then we can come in with our other things. So these are all nice and solid now, right? So we can really layer on that glue, and it will help stick down the other elements too. And I'm sort of going to sandwich that in between there and the sentiment, like so. Give that a firm press, and at the end I'll probably sit it under some stamping blocks, some clear blocks, just to weigh everything down and make sure everything's stuck where it's supposed to be and in place. Okay, this is a nice solid image, so we can again put plenty of glue on so that we can get that pressed down in there. Okay, I've been a bit careless with the positioning of the tape there. The first bit was fine, but that second bit was a bit high, so just be mindful. I'm obviously trying to do this sort of on a video and all sort of live and stuff, so just be mindful that you're going to not going to end up with exposed glue anywhere. And I'm going to finish this one off with some champagne rhinestones, just for that bit of sort of warmth in those colours. Okay, and like I say, to now that I've finished that, I think I would sit that with a couple of blocks on it, just to make sure it was all sort of flat and set and everything. Okay, obviously for the purposes of showing you guys, we'll do that in a bit, just to make sure that's all down. So there we go then, 2 variations on the theme there. So this is for the Project Share Project blog hub with a floral theme. Links in the description to my blog, which will take you on to everyone else's project as well. So I hope that's given you an idea of what we can do with the Cheerful Daisies bundle. Lots more to come on with this one, I would say. Thank you so much for joining me today. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.